All right, so here's our Reencle. We've been using it for about 7 months, and I'm just going to show you what's inside, what our compost looks like. It's a little dry right now because I've left it for a few days for this, and then I'll just show you what we store our byproduct in before we use it for compost, and then also some of the food I'm going to throw into it today, and then we can check it tomorrow. All right, let's do this. I've got my Reencle here that's busy composting. Then some food that we're gonna throw in here, and I wanted to throw in something pretty wet so that people can see. A lot of people have questions about, putting wetter material into the Reencle, so I want to show us doing that. And then this is where I store the byproduct before I mix it with soil and use it as compost. So if we look inside, right now, I've left this for a couple days just because I wanted to show this kind of the process. Normally, I put things in here every day and just let it work. But then when I know it's gonna be hitting the fill line over here, I'll give it an extra day or two just to kind of finish whatever's inside being composted. And about the only thing that's left that of any size are like peels from citrus fruits. Mostly it's orange and lemon peels because we eat a lot of oranges and lemons. But anyway, that's what the compost looks like right now. And it's a little dry in here just because I've left it for 2 days. And so I have taken this down. You can see where the max line was, and I've taken it down to our minimum line down there. And when you take it out, you barely see the tops of the paddles. This is usually an indicator that you've left enough in so that the microbes can keep doing their job of composting. And then here is the compost in the bucket. And this bucket, it's not even half full. It's probably about a third full. It holds 35 pounds. And in the 7 months that we've been using this, I've only emptied this bucket once. So, and we're a family of 6. So that kind of gives you an idea of how much you'd collect over time. But it's different for everybody depending on your inputs and then obviously how many people are in your home. Now I'm going to show you putting all of this food that we've just collected the last couple days. I'm going to throw this in here, and then tomorrow we'll check it. One of the main things I wanted to show you today too is it's not some nasty, I don't know, tomato sauce or something that got lost in the back of the refrigerator. So you can see it's got some mold on it and it's really kind of soupy. And so I'm gonna throw that in there with the other food waste, and then we'll check it tomorrow so I can show you what it looks like when the Reencle gets a little too much moisture in it. But you'll be surprised, it'll handle it fine. Okay, it is 8:30 a.m. on Monday. I just dropped this in here, and it's got all that nasty tomato sauce stuff and then all this other food waste. And then tomorrow at 8:30 we will check it and see how it's doing. And if I could predict, it's pretty dry right now, so I don't think it's going to chunk up too much from the moisture. But if it does, then I'll be able to show you, and so you can see that it's okay when that does happen, that the microbes will catch up and break the stuff down. Okay, it is almost 8 o'clock, and I'm really excited to show you what happened over the last 24 hours because that food waste that I threw in there, the nasty tomato sauce and all the other stuff, is gone. It's all been eaten up. So let me show you. All right, here we go. Woo! So that is the result of almost 24 hours. I think it was 8:30 that we put it in yesterday. And it is now about 8 a.m. the following day. And pretty much everything has been eaten up. Let me show you this. See the max line I showed you yesterday? That minimum fill line right here. So you can see the volume. I mean, it takes down the volume of waste down to about 10% of its original volume. So when you consider how much you can put in here and break down, it's pretty great. But you can see there's still a little bit of the, you can see kind of the orange peels. I think that's an orange peel right there. But everything else completely broke it down. And I was surprised, even that that really wet tomato sauce that I thought was gonna make this a really wet mix, did not. I mean, it's probably a little too dry for what I like. So I'm gonna put a cup of water in here. One of the things you know if it's too dry, and you can also, yesterday after I have emptied it, you can see the paddles. And so, yeah, I mean, all that waste broken down and barely even added to the existing compost in here. But one of the things you can do when it starts to get a little dry, you can add water to it. And so I'm gonna add a cup of water just because it's pretty good, but a little drier than I like. And one of the ways you can tell it's dry too is you'll start to hear the paddles go through the compost. It's not loud, it's like almost like a squeaking, like if you were, I don't know, had skis on sand. It just kind of a little squeaking, small squeaking sound that you'll hear occasionally when the compost gets dry. But there you go, 24 hours later, and all of that stuff that I put in yesterday's pretty much gone. All right, so I was going to start loading this up after doing the 1-day test, but actually I wanted to see what it looked like and let you see the compost after a full 2 days. And that's kind of the process that I will do before I empty it, is I usually give it a couple extra days to compost just to make sure it gets everything, because I don't sift. I know some people like to sift the compost when they empty it and then put the bigger chunks back. I don't do that. I just give it a couple days to fully compost, and then I start adding to it. So come over here and take a look at this. So this is just great compost. And I did add 2 cups of water. I will say that because it was getting a little dry. But we're also in the Mountain West in an arid climate, so it dries out faster. But you can see what a great, you know, how nice that compost looks. And then if we look here, you can get the camera around here and look at the fill line. You can see we're all the way down to the minimum line again after it's had a couple of days. So it's pretty much right to that minimum line. So it's taken that volume all the way down. But really good looking compost. And then what I'm gonna do is put all of this stuff that we've collected from the last day and a half. I'm going to throw that in here right now. And then after throwing it in here, I'll do another video just so you can see again once we got it fired up and going again with new food waste. All right, so I'm just gonna show you, we put this stuff in. Banana peels, anything that's long and fibrous, you generally wanna cut up. So I keep some kitchen shears just next to our Reencle. And then when I put this stuff in, I cut it up, anything that's kind of long and fibrous. And really, as a rule of thumb, you don't have to cut it up super small, but the smaller you cut it, the faster it will compost it, because you've increased the surface area of the material that you're composting. Now, we advise not to use or not to put like pineapple husks or watermelon peels in here, or watermelon, what would you call that, sweetheart? Watermelon husks? Rinds, that's right. But if you cut it up and put it in, then it's not gonna be a problem. It's not gonna jam up the paddles. So anyway, I'm gonna put all of this waste in here, and then we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. Okay, so I just took all that food and put it inside, and come here. Yeah, lots of tops of strawberries, some eggs, some lemons, some onions, cut up chunks of watermelon, lots of banana peels. So this is all here, and it is 6:56, so 7 p.m. and we will check this tomorrow at 7 p.m. Give it a full 24 hours, but I'm excited to see how it handles a full chunk of waste. Now, just so you know, normally we do not save it like this. Like, we'll just be throwing stuff in throughout the day, so we never have to pile up and save anything. It just goes in little by little. But I just wanted to give you an example of what it looks like if you throw it all in at the same time. Great.